tonight. So I'll call this meeting to order, a meeting of Wednesday, November 9th, 2016 Planning Board. We'll go around the table and make introductions. We'll start to my right.
Robert Davies, alternate.
Teresa Bascom.
Charlene Anderson.
Edward Veal.
Susan Mooney.
Gary Anderson.
And please let it be recorded that Mr. Davies will be seated and voting for Mr. Moran tonight. So we have a few things on our list tonight. The first item is a public hearing for a conceptual, I'll just read it as is. Dan Maller's lot line adjustment conceptual for tax map 16, lot 31. So we know Mr. Mather. Welcome to the table. If you could just again state your name and
Dan Mather.
And before you get going, so again, so conceptuals, for the record, for the public that may be viewing at home, are a chance for an applicant to come before us in a non-binding manner. It's just for us, again, to give general guidance, but nothing really specific, so that's it, if you can.
I have a plan for you. You guys want to just pass around, or? Is that this way?
Yeah.
Probably should give you small ones, but.
Route 4. Whereabouts on Route 4 are you?
244 Old Turnpike Road.
Uh-huh. And is that east or west of Highlands?
Got me. 244 Old Turnpike Road.
It's between the end of Garland Road and 152.
32.
Yeah, 152 in Gowan.
Cooper Hill.
52.
Cooper, almost across from Cooper Hill, right?
Looking at
Three houses down if you count
Okay,
exactly.
I know where you are. Okay, thank you.
On the right-hand side.
Okay.
Okay, so as we're looking at that, it's the,
It's the
Right.
person to the right-hand side of me, Travis. They just asked me about buying some land to up their lot. I guess it benefits the town and it benefits them. It doesn't mean I'm getting very much money for it, so it's not so much benefiting me, but it brings them up to a 2-acre house lot, which is good for the town because that's old zoning now is 2 acres. So it makes them a little, more larger lot rather than 200 by 200 lot.
Yeah, I can't tell which is which, though.
Is this the
older
one
than
where
you.
the house is being redone, or is it the lot that's for sale?
LLA.
No, it's before that, 3 before that. The house is being redone.
So this will
Then
lose.
there's the lot that's
happening.
I sold, and then there's my house, 244,
That's
and then
right.
there's Travis if you're heading towards 152
Okay.
from Garland.
So give us a minute to review. This is 13-1. This is your neighbor on the left, correct?
If I'm looking at Route 4, it'd be my neighbor on the left.
Yeah. Okay.
Lot 31, map 16.
Okay, so I guess if you can just give a quick overview of what a brief description of what you're proposing.
I'm adding an acre onto their land. You can see where on the blueprint it shows their existing lot now,
Yep.
and it shows what I'm adding to them. So basically, I'm bringing them up to about a 2-acre lot.
Yeah, so this will be moved up to here.
Okay, so the attempt
Actually, the
is
other
to
way.
make
I'm sorry.
your neighbor's lot more conforming?
Correct. I own 29 feet of their lawn, so basically I'm selling their 29, I'm giving them the 29 feet of their lawn on Route 4, and then it cuts back, and they're giving me 10 feet that from my setback, back on the pin from Route 4. You can see in my driveway, it's moving over like 10 feet. So I'm giving them 26 feet, or 29 feet on Route 4, and then behind that, they're giving me 10 feet. So you kind of see that little dotted line? The new line and the old line.
Okay. So generally, the purpose of a conceptual is that when we have something in very rough shape, usually trying to drawn out at that point, it's just kind of saying, like, this is kind of what I'm thinking about doing, what's the board, feel
Right.
about that. This seems to be pretty, almost to that next step of being ready for an application.
Right, I have everything for the application. I just figured you guys canceled the last meeting, and I'm refinancing at the same time because my attorney's gonna make up the 2 new deeds. So I'll do it all at once because that's the easiest thing. So it's kind of like it all really has to go in sync. So as soon as the mortgage closes, right above them, my lawyer's gonna make the due deeds, send them to them, and then it'll be done.
Yep.
But, so it kinda has to all go, the bank will be paying off, but it should go really smooth, everyone's in link, so.
Alright, just a minute.
Sorry, does anybody drive before you go to Coca-Cola?
No.
The lights are on.
Alright. Right, because I just dropped my cell phone out there.
You want to give me your keys? Or give Sue your keys?
We'll take a 5-minute break after this, so I'll do it. Thank you. So at this point, I'd like to open it to the board for any kind of thoughts. Again, this is conceptual, so it's, keep it kind of general.
So how much frontage do you have now?
So it brings me to 200, brings
Okay.
them up to 229.
Okay.
And again, so your lot currently is about 14 and a half acres.
Correct.
It's gonna bring it down to just over 13.
13.9 or
It's
something,
gonna
yeah.
bring theirs, still not up to 2 acres, but,
But really close to there.
and also give them more frontage to bring them up. to
Exactly.
480.
Yeah, all this time I've been in the middle of their yard, and they asked me for more land. I was like, well, we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't like, you guys mow my lawn, so now it'll be their lawn. So,
And so on, from your point of view, where is that helping you? I'm just not
well,
sure about.
it's given me a little more setback, so if I do add on to my house, which I'm looking at, it just gives me a little more setback, like I said, an extra 10 feet. But, we still have plenty of setback, but I just figured a little more to bump it back, and we wanted to square the lot up, because it kinda went on an angle before. So now it's kinda nice and square, so I'm nice and square, they're nice and square, so
That makes
it
sense.
looks better, it's
Yeah.
shaped better,
Yeah.
better for everyone.
Yeah. So generally, the things we look for, when a full plan does come before us is, again, setbacks, even on a lot line adjustment, the conformity, so going from less conformity to more conformity is generally, viewed favorably. So generally, on a lot line adjustment, especially as long as everything else is met, we're not creating a new issue like a non-conformance. Generally, that's a favorable situation. This side of the room just got the plan, so I wanna give them a chance to
Do you have anything?
speak.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, we tried to get the points out of it, so there weren't no wedges and stuff, because I said, like, you like to have it nice and square. So we squared it up, because before, we kinda had a point that went out into my driveway, like, really weird. Went down to like an inch, and then V'd out. So now we squared that up by taking that 10 feet out.
So driveways aren't being moved,
No,
anything like that?
nothing.
No existing, so you don't have to worry about permits, driveway permits from the state, because that's Route 4, so we don't permit those, the state does, but
Although it seems pretty cut and dry,
Yeah.
really.
Yes, yep.
I think would be fine to, move forward.
forward.
If you,
Okay.
if you so decide,
Yep.
just, you'd have to file the application.
I will, I'll do it tomorrow, so we're all set.
Yep.
We'll wind up. Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, have a good night.
I'd like to close that public hearing. And if the board is okay, I'd like to just take 5 minutes,
Yes,
probably less.
go ahead.
I apologize.
Not a problem.
Okay, all right.
Happens.
I used to carry jumper cables.
Oh, just in
Haven't
case?
lately.
Yeah.
What's that?
Jumper cables, you never know.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow they got taken out and I never replaced them.
You're definitely handy.
It looks as he could have finished the meeting in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, the zoning, we were pretty thorough at the last meeting.
Well, and this is the public hearing,
Yeah.
and I don't see much comment coming.
It's early.
Okay. Bring the meeting back to order. Again, I apologize for that.
Forgive you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
And if I'm breathing like this, it's because I've got a cold, it's not because I'm not out of shape.
We can tell.
So the next item on the meeting is the public meeting for zoning changes discussion, if needed. I don't believe we scheduled a public meeting for tonight for this. So we would have to schedule that. That's sorry, our last meeting, we had a joint meeting with the zoning board and Conservation Commission about some zoning changes that we were proposing. Some to bring us in conformity with state statute. So those are in the works, and public hearing, public hearing will be set at a future date. That's my understanding, at least.
Isn't this the public hearing tonight?
I don't think it was
I don't think it is, I think that would be
posted,
December.
no, yeah, I think it was when,
Well,
Paul got back.
Yep.
He was doing it, because we still have plenty of time.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. Why is this on the agenda tonight?
Good question.
Okay.
Well, I think there was a question as
some
to whether or
questions
not we
on
had
the-
any other changes to be made to it. I don't remember in the minutes.
Well, so we talked about the ADUs,
Right,
that was one of the subjects.
Yeah, it was the ADUs, which was bringing our statutes more in conformance with the state statute, and then there was possibly gonna be some additional language or additional options to go to the ballot. The definitions, which is to just bring our own documents into conformance
Right.
and get rid of some vagueness. The lighting ordinance, which is tabled for now, for the future. And then language for Article 2, C and C2 of the zoning ordinance, clarifying and changing some of the language regarding setbacks and septic systems mostly.
yeah, and as far as the ADUs go, we were also talking about whether or not we wanted, or we're going to allow for the in-law, outlaw apartments to be separate from the main structure.
Yeah,
I think we decided to discuss that later on.
Yeah, Paul had indicated if we were gonna do that, it would be a separate item for the ballot,
Right.
that they would be separated out.
So I would assume that once Paul's back, that it'd be putting some rough draft items together for us.
Yeah, and then the warrant article after that. So stay tuned for those. The next item on the agenda is public comment. It's a time at night when we reserve a moment for anybody in the public that would like to come forward and speak to us with, or have questions or anything like that. It could be general. Can't make comment about specific properties, projects, or applications. So again, anybody at home, this is a time you can come on in and meet with us and get any kind of questions you have answered, hopefully. Seeing that there's nobody in the audience, we'll move on. Quick meeting, I think. So this brings us to the point where we have Board of Selectmen and staff board member updates. So we usually start with the Board of Selectmen. That'd be Charlene Anderson.
Yeah, election was yesterday, that seemed to go well. The school, having it at the school was definitely beneficial in getting people through the process, and we appreciate the school cooperation and allowing the town to do that, and the staff of the school support that we got, so that was great. And then I don't know if you folks have seen the counter offer that was put on the bankruptcy for USA Springs, but the Francisco Rotundo has put a counter offer on it. The bankruptcy hearing is supposed to be November 15th, we'll see what happens. So it'll be interesting. And other than that,
Charlene, do you know how many voters turned out yesterday?
it was 78%
78%,
Oh.
including the new voters.
registered voters. 78%,
And then there was 249 new voters.
yeah. I forget where the 78% came, if it was based on the total amount of votes. It was like
That's-
38 something, I think, that was the turnout.
Oh, that's very good.
Up 3,100, yeah.
Yeah. So, a
It
good
was
turnout.
busy.
That's all I have.
At this point, I would open it up to the rest of the board, starting with Mr. Davies.
All set.
I don't have
Any,
We'll wait.
Conservation Commission has been, monitoring conservation easement properties in Nottingham. And, a team of 4 did Highlands last Saturday. 19 properties up there have deed restrictions because of the watershed, sensitivity. And, the other properties have been, monitored or will be in the near future, and everything seems to be in order.
So are you seeing, any, with, we've had rain, are you seeing improvement in the, drought situation, or
Actually, it's still pretty dry, actually,
it is?
really, yeah.
The Highland's the one on Route 4.
Yes, the one on the hill, and
Is
as you go east, then you come down to Brook Crossing. That's the second, large
Do
development.
they still have lots for sale there? Because that sign has been there ever
In
since
Highlands,
I've lived there.
I think that there's one property that I know of that's been foreclosed.
It's probably a Paul question. I think that the original
Yeah.
development sign is still large, so talk about that if they're gone.
That's it for me.
Mr. Anderson?
Just with Stratford Regional, I haven't been out to the last 2 meetings, but the transportation items are still ongoing, and there was a early December meeting I'm planning to attend and get caught up there. Much other than that, I know there's a update that the board has been getting.
So,
They had in their last newsletter something about a festival coming up that they are gonna be having this month, a Thanksgiving festival, right? Isn't it on there? That Drew or Joanna sent out?
And I'm not sure which festival that was, but
It was a Thanksgiving festival, and I thought it was the SRPC, but maybe not.
there's a lot of kind of regional news in there, so I'm not sure which one that was.
it was during the week, wasn't it, or something?
Was that,
Was it during the week, or something?
was it a Friday or Saturday? It might have been Saturday, I don't remember now. It sounded interesting anyway, I kept it in my email box.
and I don't have any board updates, but we do have another item that's not on the agenda, but it does not require any kind of public notice. It's an application for a voluntary lot merger, and this falls under RSA 674-39A, which again is voluntary, which specifically states in the RSA that it just basically needs our approval, and that we shall grant their approval. No public hearing or notice shall be required. So this is for, it was a previously town-owned property that was purchased by an abutter. It's tax map 1, lot 85, and tax map 1, lot 84, 14 Rozier Place. Lot 84 was the one sold from the town of Nottingham. Lot 85 is 0.2 acres. The vacant lot that was sold is 0.06 acres. This was part of the consolidation or the sale of town-owned properties. Trying to get those back on the tax rolls and create slightly more conforming lots. So we have an application here from Jason Rozier, 10/17/2016, requesting this merger, voluntary merger. Total acreage of the combined would be 0.26 acres.
Yeah, and if I could just add, that was actually one of the requirements of the offer on the property was to merge the lots.
Is this up on North River Pond, North River Lake?
Yes. Do you need a motion?
I would like a motion, yes, please.
Nice. I'll make a motion that we'll accept the application for voluntary lot merger on map 1, lot 85 and 84.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'd like to vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 6-0. The only other thing we had, Sue, you may know, but there was a request from Dirk by email just to make sure that we get the
Impact
the
fees.
impact fees studies onto to our agenda soon. 'Cause I know we have a meeting that will be scheduled with Bruce Mayberry to come attend, so. I don't know if that's gonna be at our next meeting, which would be the 23rd, or if we're gonna push it out into November.
Do you mean December? We're
December.
not meeting of the
That's
twenty-third
right,
meeting
so
in December.
it'll definitely be December then.
Yeah, so it'll be the first meeting in
So we should
December.
make- So if everybody, I believe those were the review, Joanna had previously sent those out to the board. If you can, just make sure we get a chance to review those prior to that meeting, so we can have that meeting and get that public hearing scheduled if with whatever decision we make.
Do we know when we're gonna get the rec one?
I do not know that. Hope soon. I'll follow up, I'll ask Joanna. The next on the agenda is the approval of minutes, and we have a request from Joanna to table those until the next meeting, where she'll be able to attend. But in the meantime, we can definitely send edits in for review.
Do you need a motion for that? I'll make a motion that we table the approval of the minutes for September 14th and October 12th of 2016.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries 6-0. Before we close the meeting, there's only two other items on the agenda. We have plans to sign for the Anderson case, Gary. And there's also, the plans were rejected from the registry on the Curry subdivision. Planning board block needed to say Nottingham Planning Board signatures, proof from Deerfield acknowledging that they were informed of the subdivision, and the title block needed the names of all the owners. Do we have those updated plans? Yes. Okay, so before everybody leaves, if we can just get those signed again and get those out. And that is all that I have. So, is there anybody else have anything?
So there's no minimum number that we have to sign those plans?
Yeah, it would be a quorum, but we're over that. So, yeah, oh yeah. Because Gary will be using 5, yeah, yep, we're still okay. Any further at this time, then, take a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
22. You know what Dirk's